YouTube, I think you guys are gonna really love this one. We're actually gonna bring out the Cocoa trimmers, and this is definitely something that, I never really thought I was gonna love, but man, I was super impressed with how they hit the edge, hit the lineup. I'll get into my thoughts about who this trimmer is gonna be good for a little bit later on in the video, but we're gonna start this video off here using the Andis Master Blade on the Stylecraft Instinct Clipper. And I think that it's a really good combination, the two. As you can see in my last video, I wanted to try out the Babyliss FX1 set, and that's really awesome. It's a super refreshing piece of technology, but you can't forget about the stuff that just works, you know what I mean? So this Instinct combo right here with the Master Blade, it's never gonna go out of style for me, man. Like, just the way that the power of the clipper that it brings, along with the precision of the Master Blade, I feel like if you're using the taper blade, that's a nice option for anybody who wants a clipper that can definitely cut precisely, but still with a little bit of forgiveness, right? I feel like that thicker taper blade just works really good. I'm taking that number 2 guard, and we're going with the grain. I think the most important thing whenever you have someone with a little bit of a fro that they're trying to get it to lay down, he's not a waver per se, but he definitely likes to have his hair, to be able to brush it down flat. So I like to start with the 2, but the most important thing is start from the crown and work your way forward. So cutting with the grain means if the hair grows forward, you're cutting forward. If the hair is growing down, you're cutting down. If it grows to the left, you're cutting left. Does that make sense? So you have to brush it, comb it down into the natural placement, and follow that pattern with the guard. So do that all the way through. Start from the crown all the way to the edge. And I think that's gonna work out really good for you guys. Just be safe with it. I like to start off with a bigger guard like a 2. And then once you do finally cut through it, the reason I start off with a comb, when you're cutting through, is because the comb will kind of lift the hair up off the head so that we can get a nice even cut. And I could follow up, and it's actually pretty funny. A tiny little pink brush, like a little baby brush, but hey, it got the job done. It's what I had at my disposal at the moment, and that's what I used. You don't really have to go crazy with the tools and the combs and stuff you're using. I mean, just something simple like this. It's like a little Dollar Tree nail brush. You know what I mean? But yeah, after you're done trimming it down, and the bulk of the hair is down, then you can go in and start to brush it down, and then you can tighten it up a little bit more. So in order to tighten it up a little bit more, now that I have the hair compressed again and brushed into place, with the same clipper, same blade, I put the number 1 guard on. So instead of using that number 2 guard all the way closed, now that the hair's already been trained a bit, as good as I'm able to get it in this moment, I went ahead and put that number 1 guard all the way open. So that's gonna be equivalent to about a 1.5. And then we're doing the same motions again. I just wanna try to get the waves that we can get to pop a little bit more. So we're repeating the same motion, start from the crown all the way up to the front. As you can see, I'm working my way to the front of the hairline. If your client has a little bit of a thinning hairline, you may want to soften up the tension just a little bit as you go over those light spots. But if your client has nice dense hair, like my client Joshua does here, this is an amazing technique. Start off with a 2 guard, full pressure all the way through, get the bulk down after you've combed it out. And then once you compress it down with the brush and you start, because you can start seeing those ripples are coming in, the waves are definitely coming in. Go in with 1 level tighter. So instead of a 2 closed, I use the 1 open. After I brushed it down and trained everything into place. So leave a comment down below. What's your favorite tool for balding out and setting in that bald line? In the majority of my videos recently, you've seen me go in with my clipper closed. In this case, I'm using the detachable, the 5-out blade, quintuple 0, you might call it. But yeah, I mean, what's your favorite tool to bald out? Like, have you been following my advice and using a clipper to go close to leave a softer line? I'm interested to know, because actually lately I've been starting to play around a little bit more, Yeah, people have always told me, hey, you're gonna get a cleaner line if you just go in with your trimmer, or even like take your clipper in this motion. So, you know, I still don't take back where, hey, if you're a beginner, you're gonna want to have the softest line possible. So just do like my other videos, and you can go in with your clipper all the way closed. You know, just keeping a nice tight motion. But you know, if you're somebody who is more experienced, you can definitely get a more precise, a more crisp line. It is a little bit harder to take out when you're fading, right? So that's why I always recommend for the newer viewers to just go in with a clipper closed. But I've been happy with this. I've been practicing playing around with this motion lately, so yeah, let me know what your favorite method is. But did you notice the shape that I did these lines for the taper in? You notice how high I took the front tapers and how towards the back line, instead of it being a perfectly straight line or even upside like a rainbow shape, I wanted it to curve up just a little bit towards, so to kind of start to blend in with the front tapers. Right now, take a look here. The reason I do that is because with most taper videos, you're gonna see that the next guideline up, in this case with the zero guard closed, most videos you're gonna see barbers just going with the clipper blade open, and that's fine too. I just like going in with that zero closed. But I actually put this guideline in, this panel that I could fade out to where it looks like a low fade. As you can see, I let that flow directly over. It's really close to the ear, but I do let it flow over the ear. So when you're setting in these guidelines, people are literally gonna ask you, yo, is that a taper or is that a fade? What are you doing there? But I really wanna show you guys this method because I feel like it just helps these tapers flow so smooth. It's literally almost like a taper fade, a faper, you know, kind of like that new Stylecraft blade, right? So definitely this is something that I enjoy doing. I feel like it just helps marry the back taper to the side tapers. It just helps it flow really smooth, and I think you're really gonna love how it comes out at the end. Once you see that edge we put in there, it's gonna pop so well. Just wait for it. So just to be clear, the key here is to, you know, do your bald lines for the taper just as you normally would. You know, you guys have seen me taper in the past where I like to curve it up a little bit towards the edge in the back. Make sure that it flows. But the first panel, the first fading panel, just try it. Let it flow over the ear and connect it. You're gonna love how it flows together. Or at least by the end of this video, you're gonna be able to tell for sure if you do like how it flows. So the next mission now is to fade out that panel. Right now, we're not gonna fade it over the ear. I'm not gonna completely blur that out. Remember, this is still a taper, so I still want to keep a sharp edge over the ear. So this whole blending process from closed all the way to open, I'm not gonna do that over the ear. I'm only gonna do this concentrated in the side, the back, and the other side taper. Just leave it alone behind the ear now. You already trimmed enough. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that kind of does turn some heads. I literally had people during this recording stop me and be like, bro, what is this, a taper or a fade? Like the guidelines are confusing me. But sometimes you got to do something a little different than everybody around you just so you could stand out. You know, your clientele notices it. They're like, damn, I've never had a taper like this before, right? So, hey, if that's something that can help you just stand out from the competition, stand out from the crowd around you, give it a shot and give me your feedback too. So like I always do, you know, start off with this clipper all the way closed, start tapping at that line all the way at the very bottom, and then just fade your way up little by little. Leave me your thoughts below. A lot of my videos recently have been with the full length, right? Full length, no cuts, no edits. I still not really am cutting out any here. I just wanted to try a video out for you guys and see how you like this format. If I do an explanation and then I kind of fast forward it, you know. Give me your feedback down below in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about it, because if you enjoy it, if you like this better, if it helps captivate you and just a little better, then I'll keep doing it, or I'll keep a good mix going, you know. I'm still trying to figure out what the perfect flow is for me. I just want to be consistent. I want to try to put out at least one video a week for you guys, and I hope you can appreciate that, you know. Just let me know. So for fading out that line, remember, I put that line in with that zero guard closed. So what I think is going to blend into the top, if I take that one guard open, I should be able to do a nice little flicking motion, scooping it up off the shape of his head to be able to clear into that bulk. You can see I'm not really making any lines If you wanted to be a little bit safer, you could even start with a 2 in doing this, and then go ahead and take that 1. But I'm jumping straight into that number 1 guard all the way open. You can even go down with the grain too. That's the thing with this kind of hair texture, more coarser hair texture that will wave up. You're definitely gonna want to trim a little bit with the grain, a little bit against the grain, a little with the grain, a little against the grain. But just little by little, we are tapping away at that line right there that we created with the 0 guard close. So in my brain, I'm gonna start off with this 1 open, I'm gonna soften it up, and then I'm gonna do the 1 closed. And then after I do that 1 closed, then I'll take that 0 guard. I'll check back in with you guys once I'm done with the 1 guard. But remember, mission number 1 here is I'm gonna start open with this 1 guard, clear out as much as I can, blur it out as much as I can, and then close it. You can see right now it's closed, and it's already working really nice to give it that good blurry effect. Just wait till we put that 0 guard on. It's gonna bring it all together. So here we are now with this 0 guard, and it's really just a matter of just picking and choosing a couple spots here and there, a couple dark spots that we need to address, so that way we can keep this blend buttery smooth all the way down. I do like to start with it open if necessary, but you can go straight to close if you need to. If you can see the little areas of imperfection that need to be blurred out to have that gradient effect, just jump straight in. Definitely the safest way to do, just like we did with the 1 guard, is to start with the lever all the way open, hit a couple spots, maybe halfway, and then close. Just work your way, because if you have the lever open, that's going to be the softest cutting setting that you can have with this 0 guard. So you can see here, I'm starting open, just grazing over a couple of those areas. I see a little dark spot there in the back, especially right there in the middle of the nape. It's always going to be the darkest, most difficult area to fade out. So just make sure you take your time. The point is, you want to create an illusion that it's buttery. You want your haircut to look photoshopped by the end of the cut. So yeah, just keep on going. 0 guard open, 0 guard halfway, and then 0 guard closed. Now, if you notice, you see there, I purposely am not gonna take much hair off from behind the ear, because right there, just that little area, once you put that edge in there, I wanna leave as much hair there as I can to where that edge is just gonna pop. So I'm concentrating my detailing and my fading in the taper areas only. So I'm gonna do a little bit of prep work here for the lineup, a little bit of alcohol, and maybe a tiny little bit of hairspray on a neck strip, just so I can make sure that I get that hair laying down nice and crispy. I wanna remove the oils from the skin and the hair, just so it hits nice. So all the tools that we're using here, remember, I always have my discount code for Stylecraft. So if any of you guys want to have any kind of gamma clipper, any Stylecraft clipper, like I said, in this case, I'm using the Stylecraft Instinct. And that one already comes with the bracket installed. If you buy it from Stylecraft, it already comes with that bracket installed, and you can automatically put your master blade on there, if that's something that you want to do. Otherwise, the Fusion blade hits perfectly fine. But for the meantime, I really like using these double magnetic and discards, so I'll use that Filthy Blends bracket that it comes with. That's just part of the value that you get with this company when you buy their clippers. As far as, I want to hear you guys' opinions too in the comments. There was a lot of controversy going on about these clippers exploding and catching fire. I remember when that happened to Caliber clippers maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's just something about lithium-ion batteries. I guess you always have a risk or a chance of that happening. But man, I feel like it happened to one person, and then I don't know, something just felt fishy about the other videos that came out. Like that one was completely legit. They caught it on security footage on the camera. And it was, I guess that's a chance that you take with the lithium-ion batteries, but man, I have never had that problem. So I'm going to continue to use mine. I haven't had any issues. I still leave mine charging on the stand overnight. That's a really interesting thing that happened there. I don't know, guys. I want to hear your opinions on it. Let me know what you think. But I'm not going to form an opinion about a company unless if I've had a bad experience with them. And you guys know I've been rocking with Stylecraft for a minute. I love using their clippers. I love using their trimmers. And I thought you guys would enjoy seeing some variety on the channel, right? Like with the FX1 in the last video, with the Cocoa trimmer in this one. And I thought you would enjoy some variety. So, that's why I like bringing some other tools into the mix as well. It keeps it fun. It keeps it interesting. But I'm not ready to give up on my Stylecraft clipper, man. Like, I've never experienced anything bad with these. So it really sucks that happened to that individual, and I know Style Craft is going to take care of them. The customer service has always been super on point with me. But yeah, that's just my thoughts, man. Leave your comments below on what you think about that situation. So check it out with these Coco trimmers, man. These things, what is the hype about them? They have this blade gapping technology, and it's called digital gapping. Now, really, all that means is that the people in the factory that are distributing this, they are setting the blade under a microscope, under a digital microscope. So that's the only thing that's happening here, right? Is that it's basically just a Babyliss blade, but it is set under a digital microscope. So that way they could make sure that it's not zero gaps. See, that's the thing. Zero gap means you have no gap at all between the moving blade and the still blade. It's completely flush, which means if there's a pimple in the way, or if you're just a little bit too heavy-handed, you're gonna make your client bleed. So that's the whole thing about them, is that they don't want you to have any issue at all with gapping the blade, right? Take it out the box and it's perfect. Very rarely are you gonna find clippers like that. Sometimes even, I think it was the like the Babyliss FX3, it just came way too close out the box. It had a reputation for that. I think the Sabres came out really good. I'm trying to think which one. Every once in a while you'll find trimmers that they try to do that at the factory, but it's just way too close. I will give Coco all of their props for a proper digital gap. I didn't have to mess with this blade at all coming out the box. So that would be my recommendation. If you are somebody that struggles with setting your blades, and I know this is something that I definitely struggled with for years. I was never able to get the blades right. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a niche group of us that can't do it, but I always had a hard time setting these Babyliss blades. I was so bad at setting these Babyliss blades, I literally made people's skin bubble. It was embarrassing how bad I was setting at these blades. I was just like over gap them, or maybe just be too heavy-handed with it. But that is one thing that Coco was able to do for me, is they were able just to completely erase that stress. It's gonna come perfect out the box. So if that's something that you find valuable, I would definitely recommend that you try these Cocos. We got it from Magnus Barber Supply at a super competitive rate. I'll actually see if I can leave the link at the bottom in the description here for these. I'll also see if I can leave an Amazon link. So whatever works for you guys. But if that's something that you need, then I would recommend trying them, because the machine is strong. It definitely didn't pull or yank any hair. Actually, I think I may have had one or two, let's say two max clients, where I would try to grab like one specific hair and it would just get snagged on it. It just wouldn't do the job right. But I'm talking, that was like on one particular hair. The edges were still super crispy. So I'm gonna give these a solid 9 out of 10, only because I did have one or two experiences where it would snag a hair. But I mean, for the majority of the part, most of my clients, even with the really thick facial hair, it ran through beards like butter. They hit real nice. Yeah, here's where they're gonna lose a point for me. So actually, I might even bring it down to an 8 out of 10 because of this. The thing is that, look, if you buy these blades, they're super expensive, and I wish that it came with a slightly better warranty. So when I reached out and I said, hey, what do I do? I asked about the warranty situation. When the hair snagged, I was like, all right, I don't know if something happened on my blade or what. So I reached out. They will only cover your blades for 7 days. Now, the truth is that the entire value of this item is in the actual digital gapping, the setting of the blade. So what happens if on the 8th day after purchasing, what happens if on the 8th day I drop the trimmer, the blade gets offset, and now I have to reset it myself? That part is what's hard for me to say, hey, this is like a 10 out of 10. That's what's gonna make my rating drop to an 8 out of 10. Because literally, like, let's say if you go to their website and you try just to buy the trimmer blade alone to put on your Babyliss, it's gonna cost you about $90 for that ambassador blade. I think it's like $75 if you just want to get the regular graphene blade. So that's something to consider. All right, how good are you gonna take care of this machine? Because it's expensive and it's delicate. Like I said, when it works great, man. But I was very disappointed when I reached out to customer service and they're like, yeah, the warranty's only good for 7 days. What am I gonna do in 7 days? You know what I'm saying? Like 2 weeks after I drop the blade, I have to readjust it for whatever reason, a good deep cleaning or something. So be aware of that. That is the ugly. You got the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the ugly part of this cocoa trimmer. They did say that if you reach out, you can get information to a local digital gap specialist, which really means it's just a guy with a digital microscope that he knows how to adjust your blade. But even when I did reach out for that information, I never got a response. So, the customer service aspect, the warranty aspect, that's a little bit sus. Now, still a good machine, still a great machine. It just depends on you, man. Like, what does that matter to you? Right? So just consider those things. If I'm gonna give my recommendation for something, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and the ugly for it. So, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So now that the detailing phase is done, now that we've already taken care of the lineup, we're gonna move on to the Tune 45 no drip enhancement. So we're gonna be using the Tune 45 gun, we're gonna be using the Tune 45 color, and we're gonna be using the Tune 45 color card, that Sean Cutts hair made, the clutch card. So we're gonna be using the whole setup. Actually, I think we're even gonna be using Tune 45 fibers in this video too. So I wanted to show y'all that's what the no drip looks like before you mix it up. You just got to shake it up a little bit, and it really doesn't take that much enhancement to do a proper job. I mean, the cup on the color cup on the Tune 45 gun really isn't even that huge. Like, it doesn't take a crazy amount of color to get a decent job done. I will say the early versions of the Tune 45 hair color didn't last so long, but the newer version of it actually doesn't. It's not too bad. It actually works pretty good. It's good durability. Much better durability than the early versions of it. So I'm definitely happy to be using this product now. So here's the thing, that why would I use no drip instead of using Beijing, instead of using Just for Men or Kiss Express? There's nothing wrong with those colors if your client is okay with it, if you can make sure that your client's skin is not too sensitive where they're not going to break out. But this is the only color on the market that is going to be 100% safe for your client's skin. Like, it's already been tested to the point where the thing is that those other colors are actually hair dye, and technically as barbers we are using it improperly. We are taking a hair dye and taking advantage of the fact that it stains the skin in order to fill in hairlines and in order to create darker edges. Because come on guys, like, we know the truth that we're not dyeing the hair, we're staining the skin with these color enhancements, right? So if we're gonna create a natural product that is ammonia free, it's just not gonna irritate the skin, right? And you want to make sure that your client's skin is 100% safe. This is going to be the route to go. Now, of course, like I said, if somebody's already tested and they tell you I use Just for Men at home, I'm good, I don't break out, then that's a different story. Go ahead and try that, because those products, the stain can last a little bit longer. But I think this is an important product to have at your station as a barber, because the general public, they're going to want enhancements, they're going to want to have darker hairlines. So this is definitely a safe one that you can use to introduce them to the color world, and so that way you can actually eliminate your liability. Nobody can ever say that they got an allergic reaction from your skin or from your product on their skin because you're using the only legal color enhancement. It's the truth. It's the only legal one. All the other ones, you're taking on some kind of liability. So I just wanted you guys to be aware about that. I laid down the no drip color first, and then I followed that up with a little bit of Tune 45 hair fibers. So like I said, the no drip color What that does is it's a product that's designed legally to stain the skin. It's gonna fill in spots where the hair does not grow as light. Now, if you use too much color piled up on one area, it can create a bit of a shine, a bit of a fake look, right? And you don't wanna have too much of that if you pile that on. So to make sure that we completely eliminate that and we want it to fully blend in with my client's hair, I'm gonna use the Tomb 45 fibers, because these fibers actually pile on top of each other and they really naturally grip onto the hair. So that way it can give it a real good solid look where it looks like natural hair being lined up. So that's definitely something to look into, guys. If you want, try out I'm also gonna have my discount code listed up here on the screen for the Tomb 45 website. It's definitely something that you can do, that you can bring to your station to add more value to your service, add more value to your clientele. You'd be surprised also, guys, how many clients actually use fibers at home when they, so maybe fill in between haircuts. Maybe they don't want to come get a haircut once a week, twice a week, so they're gonna want a product at home that they can use to fill in their edges. Use my discount code, and then you can make a little bit of a profit. If you buy these fibers, you can literally flip them to your customers. So that's something to look forward to, guys. You can definitely do that. Add more value to your service, put a little more money in your pocket. And I'm gonna show you guys here. So I really don't use the mirror a whole lot these days anymore, man. I kind of just I take a video on my phone of their finished product so that way they could see their own haircut from all angles. The thing is that the clients really have to bend their head in really weird angles so that way they could get a good look at the haircut through the mirror. So maybe this is something that your clients would like. If you just take a couple videos all the way around so they could see their haircut, they could see what the rest of the world is gonna see. And on top of that, now you have a piece of content on your phone you can use to advertise to the world to show off your haircut, right? So it's just something to consider, a little something I picked up on over the time. And but yeah, guys, this is pretty much the finished product. I'm gonna show you guys the video now, but let me know what you think about this. What did you think about the style of taper that we did here? What did you think about how I set that first panel, let it float right over the ear? Do you think that benefited, or do you think that hurt the look of the taper? Definitely give me your feedback on that, guys, and I appreciate y'all tuning in so much. Like I said, if you want a discount on any of the Stylecraft clippers or any Gamma clipper product that's out right now, I've got my discount code on the screen, and same with the Tomb 45 enhancement system, whether it's fibers to sell to your clients or the no drip so you can have a good legal product that you can use on their skin, completely eliminate your liability. Let me know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts about this video style too, if you enjoyed the fact that I fast forwarded through, some of the stuff that can be pretty boring. I just wanted to show y'all before that it can be done. These haircuts can be done in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, let me know, guys. Whatever you like, I will continue to do. And thanks for tuning in again.